Hey, I just wanted to go through and kind of explain and review this Erin Condren teacher planner that I use. This is my first time to use a lesson planner for homeschool, so I wanted to just show you how I use it and what I think of it. So let's just get started. This is what it looks like from this angle. It's pretty big because it's really sturdy, but it needs to be big because there's a lot of information that we put in here, lesson plans for the whole year. And I feel it's just nice. I still bring this around to plan, and I bring this out, put this in my bag, and even though this is made of, it's like laminated, it's really thick and sturdy, and the edges, they haven't frayed and they still look really strong. And I just love the quality of the spine. The paper is really thick, and here at the beginning, the front and the back page, you can actually use this to with a whiteboard marker to write notes. But for me, I added a pocket, and I also slip in my daily schedule. I have a daily schedule and one for the homeschool schedule. And this is more like a reference. We're very flexible. I don't follow exactly how this goes, but some days I may wake up late or get off track, and I can just be like, okay, this is what time of the day, what should I be doing at this time, and I just refer back to this, and I find that really helpful and helps me be more productive. So over here, I just added my own stickers. The planner comes with some really good quality stickers and a bunch of them too. This is an about me page, and I just covered off some personal information. I forget what this section was supposed to be for, but I just made it one for who am I. So let's say when my son grows up and he sees this, he can read about who his mom was, who was I at this time. And I also have this section for homeschool apps, or apps that I use for homeschool. Just like how much does it cost, when is the payment dates expire, and what subject does it cover. My son is going to turn 6 in a few days, and I'm currently homeschooling him on a kindergarten level. So over here we have the subjects, and when it comes to curriculum, I make my own curriculum. I'm doing what you call eclectic homeschooling, where I just pick and choose what I feel is best for my son's learning style, and I kind of follow my instinct of what he likes and how he would best learn, and as well as just his interests. So over here, this was supposed to be like a volunteers and contacts information page, or section right here, but I made that where I listed down all the subjects that I will be going through with him. And I'll be going more into detail at the lesson plans pages. And I also have this section where every month I want to make sure that I make dates for library visits, or I spend at least one day a month, set a date to lesson plan, or prepare lessons for the next month. And just to make sure that I stay on track, things that at least once a month I put a date on my planner, or I come back and make sure that I am doing this. Like, I make sure as well that I set dates for my field trip, and that I find, I kind of see like what topics are we learning and where can we go. Then over here, I just put the breaks or the holidays of our school year. So we are currently living in Singapore right now. My son is Indonesian. There's the Indonesian flag there. He's following his dad's nationality. We're currently living in Singapore, and the school year starts in January and ends in November. So we are following the Singapore school year calendar, but like I mentioned, I'm making my own curriculum. And even though Singapore uses the British system, or follows the British system, because I grew up in the American system, that is what I'm going to be teaching or doing with Javan. So mostly this would be like the metrics used and the spelling used. So for example, at the front here, I forgot to mention, we can personalize our planner. And okay, this zoomed out. All right. So instead of writing MUMMY, which is how they would spell mommy here, I used the American system spelling. So let me get, okay, so to continue on about the Singapore school year, how it works is we have 4 terms and every term has 10 weeks. So I have numbered here the 10 weeks, and then there's a 1-week break, 10 weeks again, and then this time a 1-month break. Another 10 weeks, now we're in term 3, and then we have another 1-week break, and finally term 4, the final term, and then we have a 1.5 month long break, and then the school year starts all over again. So for this page, I used it to take note of just a whole overview of the weeks and the holidays, as well as when I'm planning, certain topics that I want to cover. I just wanted to make sure that, I have enough time, or which week should I do it. And this page, usually in other planners, I just skip it, but this is really helpful for my homeschool planning. So now we go to this page, which I skipped. I forgot what this was originally for, but I use it to jot down the workbooks and resources that I am using or that I have. So these are the subjects and then the names of the books and where they can be found, as well as when I'm using it. So I'm using it for term 1, and I'll put a dash like if I completed this book in term 2, or for example, this one I plan to use it for the whole school year, and then this one I plan to use it once term 2 starts. Then I'll continue to add on with whatever new workbook or resource that I have. Then I just put this post-it here for decoration. Okay, so we covered this, and then now we come to another spread which with all the months and like a note section. So this one, I myself use this for writing down the main thing that I'm doing every month. So every month I'm making sure that I have a swimming class for him. My husband is the one who brings him swimming and teaches him. And then an outing. So an excursion, you can say. Usually the outings are ones that are free because we have one income, we're on a budget. So I try to find a place where we can still learn and enjoy, but we don't have to pay or not pay too much. And another main thing I use this spread for is for the main project. So I try to have at least one big project every term, so one every 10 weeks. And as I go overview at the beginning of the year, or at the end of the previous year, as I plan for the next school year, I kind of see, okay, what are his interests now, or what are the topics I'm covering with him, and what can we do that's a nice, interesting project that he might enjoy. So I put down the project and brainstorm some ideas. So this was for term 1. I put a sticker there. Term 2, term 3, term 3, and then term 4. Then I just put, these ones are like stuff to take note of, these bright stickers. And I also write down, okay, where does term 1 end and where does the next term begin. I also write that down just as another yearly overview. Then we come over here, and this is like my motivational section. So I just had these stickers and quotes that I kept with me, and I finally have a nice spot for them now. I put them here just to motivate myself, just a nice cutesy page for myself. And yeah, over here, like I told you, the front of the page, you can actually take the cover off, just like this bookmark here. You can take it off like this, and then you can put it back in wherever. So it's used as a bookmark. You can do this with a cover page. You can actually change the cover of your planner. Then over here, I decorated it. I was supposed to brainstorm my Instagram account, but I actually came up with it already without having to brainstorm here. So that's my Instagram account, my homeschool Instagram account. I'll probably just write down the page name over here, but I really love the stickers anyway, and it's still, yeah, really cute to see. Then last year, I didn't homeschool him as consistently or as regularly. So I had all these ideas and like a whole an area or like on my phone on some piece of paper where I just brain dumped some ideas that came to me for homeschool. And I decided to go through it as I planned for this school year. So I divided it into different subjects that we will be learning. And then as I was planning for my lessons, I would just look back and say, okay, where could I add this in? So now most of these things have a place already that I will cover with him sometime this year. Then that bookmark I showed you, there's another one. This planner, this ruler comes with this planner already. You can also pull it out and use it as a bookmark or as a ruler. Then I come here to my classroom rules for Javan. So since he's 6 years old this year, this is 6 rules. And at first I wasn't planning to have a rule, but I realized I think it's good to have, like, we have a system, we have a routine, and it's good to go through this with him. Especially since he's a highly sensitive child, these rules are more catered to the sensitivity in him. For example, when he makes mistakes, he gets really discouraged easily. So one of the rules is to tell himself it's okay to make mistakes. And so far, when we go through this before class, when I remember to, and sometimes when he starts to feel bad and like, oh, remember what's our class rules, then we come back to this and it helps him. Then I also have a budget list page, and this is where I write down things that I want to buy or stuff that we have spent already and how much it costs. I have a budget envelope system I do for our whole household. So mostly that's where I take note of stuff, but I also write here when I can remember. And then I have here notes for next year. So some ideas or topics that I feel that he might be too young for, or it's too early for him to learn. But since I thought about it, I just wrote it down so that I wouldn't forget. And just to let you know that these ideas that I came up with, like the budget list, notes for next year's, and more things that I will cover with you, I got it from this YouTuber that I watch. She reviewed her Erin Condren lesson planner as well, and I learned so much and got so much ideas from her. So I just wanted to write it down here because I can't remember names well. So this was the name of the YouTube channel, RV Homeschool. So you can also refer to her account to see how she did her lesson planner. Yeah, so I also continue to decorate with the stickers that I have. Then we move on to this page. I dedicated it for excursion. So excursion list, like depending, I go through what we are learning and where we could go. So I have a list for paid excursions. Usually, like, I'll have one main big excursion where it might cost a bit more to go to for per term, and then the rest on the Mondays that I usually dedicate for outings, I'll try to find ones that are educational, fun, but also free. And we're really blessed because Singapore has really awesome, lots of awesome places for kids to visit, educational places, and a lot of them are at really low cost or free as well. And I also added this pocket here, so in case we have tickets or any pamphlets, I can add it here for excursion. So I wrote here tickets and printouts. Then I have January goals and notes. Since before the school year started, I started planning already. Then I covered this section up because I realized I wouldn't be using it. I'll go more into it in the next month's explanation. So once we turn the neck, we finish this first section of the planner, we come to the monthly layout, the monthly spread. And what I do is I take note of all the holidays and I go through each month and just highlight which days will be the holiday. And once I do that, I also take note of the things that I will be doing monthly. So for example, Mondays will be swimming and outing days, and I will highlight that and then come back on depending on what we're learning at that time as well. Where will we go? Is it swimming day and outing day? And maybe if I have some ideas already where to bring him, then I would write down the location. I also have your observances. So the stickers comes with already made printed out observances I can just add on, as well as blank ones that I can just make personalize myself. And I also have whatever notes I feel I need to remember for the whole month. I write that down here. Then we come to the main area of the planner, why this planner is made for teachers. This is the first few days of school. It wasn't the first full week yet, so this wasn't considered like week 1, but I was still getting used to the planner, to what I was gonna teach, how it was gonna run. That's why I have lots of notes, reminders, ideas. These are all like reminders, things I need to refer to. And so basically this is just like some kind of like a brain dump area, just getting used to the layout. And I just put another bookmark here, and I just love putting bookmarks. Then yeah, so because there was 2 days before the full week, and usually in the Singapore school system is like the older kids will start school on this day, and then the younger kids, like preschoolers, will start on Friday. So this was Thursday, this is Friday. So over here I labeled this week 1. So every week I put a sticker here to number the week. And why I find this helpful for me is because sometimes, as this was when I was working and teaching in kindergarten, when we see like, oh, we're in week 5, that's halfway through the first term, we still have this much to do, or what else do I need to catch up on? It's just nice to know where we are on the timeline. Then, so how this works is you have the topics here, the subjects, and then your lesson plan for each subject goes down this way. And then when you teach on that day, if it's Tuesday, you just go through the day looking at your subjects this way. Now I will get into detail about the subjects that I'm teaching, and some of them I came up with on my own. I mean, it's not like new or anything, but I mostly followed the kindergarten standards from this book. This has been a really helpful book in helping me design my curriculum. So the subjects that I'm going through with him are Bible, language arts, math, science and health, history, geography, social studies, art, second language, music, and PE. Now, the thing that I mentioned about me coming up with my own subjects, this is from the book, but what I mean is like over here on Fridays, so there's science and I have health. And then as well as when it comes to Bible class, I have Bible history. I added a Bible history and character building. So for example, because my child is a highly sensitive child, he has anxiety, he has worries. The first thing that we're learning about is about worry. So I had made in my Instagram account, I have IGTV where I show you the resources and the books that I use. And that's where I have the book about worry that I go through with him on Friday. And like for history, I have Indonesian history. And since my son is Indonesian, even though he was born and has been in Singapore all his short life. And then when it comes to PE, I added my own. So this is indoor. I give time for him to go outdoors. I have here rhymes, games, yoga, Pilates, and stretching. And for any holidays that we have, I just put down the holidays here or the observances. And I really love this notes section. I always have something to write in the notes area. Also for our family, Mondays are, as I have mentioned a few times, swimming and excursion days. So basically our homeschool classroom schedule is just 4 days a week. And Mondays that's when my husband's day is the only day he has off in the week. So we have we spend time, family day, and doing, going out on outings, or he teaches my son swimming, or we just lays at home. So actually today's Monday, and that's why I'm able to take this video now. So just moving along, as I mentioned, I was still getting used to the subjects, and this yellow mark here shows that there are 2 subjects for each column. And for example, language arts, I'm kind of getting into the curriculum part here. This day we go do phonics and reading. We focus on writing, reading comprehension, then poems and rhymes. So I had to write this down, and just to remind me, okay, which day we do, follow the science book, and which day we go through the health book, which we're learning fruits and vegetables, food that's healthy for you. And then which day is geography, which day is history, social studies, Indonesian history. Now it's kind of weird, like, oh, why are you doing like different subjects? But I don't, this works for him, and the resources, the books that I have are all really interesting for him. And as I mentioned, I have shared already the books that I'm using for these days. Okay, so whenever I have something important I want to remember, I just write that down, things I want to take note of. Also, every week I put a sticker. Every week that we complete, I put a sticker at the end, just because one of my goals for 2020 is to homeschool following the Singapore calendar, just to make sure I'm like consistent with homeschooling. So that's like a tangible way for me to see that, yes, I am, homeschooling him consistently every week. I have mentioned this tab here on my Instagram page, and more about what I write here at the sides, mostly his sight words and keeping track of his alphabets and phonics. And these tabs here are just for when I want to go back or we weren't able to cover it on that day. Actually, these ones are done. I already put a tick, but I just leave it there. I love the color. And this was last week's one. So I have here a magnet bookmark, but I have post-its where I take notes, sometimes things that I want to cover with him, or things that I feel like we could watch on Netflix or find a video about it. I just take notes here. And more of these post-its just to, like the other day he was sick and I also wasn't feeling well. So plans change, and just, pointing out to myself, okay, which part do we need to focus on? Which part did we miss? And yeah, I find this just really helpful for me. And as I mentioned, I found this in one of the stationery shops, Mr. DIY. And I feel this is my first time to use it for this week, but I know I'm going to use it, and this will be really useful for me, because how I will be using this is whatever, I call it leftover, whatever subjects or activities we weren't able to do, usually because we ran out of time or just something, life happens, like he didn't feel like it, he wasn't interested in that topic, or we stayed longer in another topic because he enjoyed that more, then I just write this. I would plan to just write it down. Okay, so what we didn't do, let's say what we didn't do on Monday, I'll write it down for Tuesdays. Maybe we can do it on Tuesday. And then whatever was left over from this week, I'm like, okay, let's move it. Let's do it next week. Just to make sure that I don't miss anything. And I know to some this might be a lot, but I'm really just teaching it on his level. And I also really tell myself to keep in mind, flexibility. If I feel that he's feeling overwhelmed or it's too much, I just skip it or shorten it, or just some topics might seem a lot, but we could spend just 2-3 minutes covering it, talking about it for a while. Okay, moving on. We come towards the end of each month. They have this note section, and I'm using this for a reading log. So whatever books we read, I put it here. Then the reflection of the month. How did I feel? What am I thankful for? What can I improve? What did I accomplish? And then for planning for the next month, I look and see what are some subjects we're covering, what are the activities or experiments we're doing, and what might I need to prepare for the next month, or to just remind myself to, maybe look out for these books to borrow. More goals, things I want to accomplish for February. And then these are the main topics that are coming up and what books I can borrow based on these topics. So once again, there's the whole spread, and then this is tomorrow our week starts. So I got these new post-it as well. I always have stuff like don't forget, remember, stuff I might need to buy for experiments. I put that there. So I have planned out most of the lessons for the first half of the term. Sorry, for the first half of the school year. So every week from January until June, which is the long school holiday, has been filled up. So June is the long school holiday, and the other half of the year, everything is still blank. I still need to fill it in. So during this long holiday, I will take a few days to fill in and come up with the lessons. I have already taken note for each subject, what we will be learning. So it's mostly continued from what we've been doing already. I just haven't written it all down just to take notes, so it's easy for me to remember where we are, what were my plans, and this just to write it down. So that's what will be happening every month. And then at the end of the school year, where's December? Okay. Yeah, so the school year ends in November, and then December is the whole holiday, but I still put like observances, because even though it's the school holiday, we're still always learning, and I could always use some ideas of what I can do with him each day. So now we come to the end of the planner. Then they have a whole section of blank pages, which one I have added as kindergarten standards. So the book here I mentioned, I just kind of summarize like the subjects and the things that he needs to learn. So this is just a summarization from this book. Then I came up with my vision, mission, and core values. Just typed that down, printed out, and stuck them here. I still have to write my letter of intent. And then at the very end, they have this checklist area. Usually for classroom teachers, you write all their students' names, and then maybe, it's just to record their attendance or the results of their tests. But for me, I didn't want these pages to go to waste, so I kind of made my own checklist based on the week. So every week, in this particular week, I would go back and check, okay, did we do this book? Did I review these sounds and recognition with him? So that one is for language arts. It's more like a review. So this checklist section, I made it like a review section for me. And then just to keep track, to make sure that I have logged into my book log every week. I have a section for mathematics. Then social studies, geography, history, science, and health. So I haven't actually been updating my checklist. So I made this, so I make sure like, okay, every week, did I at least do one experiment? If I did, I make a tick mark for this week. Did we go somewhere, an outing? Make a tick mark if we did. Did he write in his journal? He usually mostly just draws. And then I have a second language and art section as well. And then finally, a checklist section for music and PE. So we come here to close. There's a quote. And then I just want to show you the stickers that comes with the planner. All really beautiful, good quality stickers. And I've used a lot of it. So this was the holidays and observances one. It's already printed out for you, and there are also blank ones that you can use. I've used a lot of that. There are 2 pages of this actually, and the other one, I think I used it all up. Then this one is almost done. Really love her stickers. And this one I used to write down the number of the week. More stickers. Ta-da-da. Okay, and I love how there's a whole page of pocket here on this side and this side. A small file of more homeschool related things. And this one, I also love this clear pocket here. And in this clear pocket, I have another file with my stickers, my post-its. These stickers you've seen in the planner. And I have more here as well in this box because they won't all fit there. It'll be too bulky. I love me my stickers and post-its. Then I found this in one of our outings at a museum. And this is a list of all the museums, galleries, parks that is found in Singapore. So if I don't Google it, I can also just refer, like if I don't have any plans for our Mondays, I can be, okay, where should we go? How much does it cost? And you know, this has been really handy and useful. So there's the clear pocket, and then I tore off a few pages to add here what I mentioned to you. And then of course I have a notepad here because there's always something to write. I added another pocket, and this is where you can also, if you want to, use a whiteboard marker to make notes. And I added my own pen holder. So that was a long video, but yeah, this is my Erin Condren teacher planner. This is how I use it. And so far it has been so helpful, so useful in helping me stay consistent. And it really helps that there are days when, you know, because last year I didn't have like a lesson plan like this, so many days I would wake up and I didn't have anything ready or planned, and I just like, oh, let's just stay in bed. So this has really helped me to stay on track, to be productive, to at least be doing something and spending more time with Javan. And you know, getting to see him grow, getting to see him enjoy learning, and just learning more about him and what he loves. So yes, thank you for coming along on this journey, and I'll see you again later.